I am a member of the faithful Remnant Church of these end times. We are led by Pope Peter, the last and true Pope of this era, also called as Petrus Romanus, who, along with his wife Mary Romanus, are the two witnesses spoken about in the book of Revelations, chapter 11. Through this video message, I am going to reveal to the viewer what Jesus Christ, the Most High True God, has revealed through his two witnesses in his testimony. Jesus revealed his true story, the one that the religious leaders of these times are hiding from you all. Jesus said, and I quote, "I wasn't feeling a lot of love when I arrived on the scene 2000 years ago, my children. The people around me at that time were in darkness. They had darkened intellects because they were all under the power of sin and the power of the evil one. Therefore, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light." What did they do with the light they saw? What was the response to the bright, shiny light in their midst? I was not a reflection of their light, because the light in them was darkness, and how great was the darkness! No one lights a lamp and puts it under a bushel basket. What will happen to the basket if they do? It will burn. But a light is to be placed on a lampstand to give light to the whole room. Now the problem the people had when I arrived, my children, is that I saw through them. I saw inside them. My light was very bright and shone so brightly that people preferred the blindness to its brightness. And so how could they change? How could they recognize the Son of Man? How could they recognize that I was sent by God, the Almighty and Eternal Father in heaven? I tell you what, my children, the people have had the time to tell their story, to have their version of me. But now it's time for me to tell my true story, the one the religious leaders of these times do not want the people to focus on. Jesus said, "The religious leaders do not want the people to come to the realization that they are not following me, that they are not listening to my words, that they are only preaching for gain and for self-serving purposes, just like the time of the Jewish leaders. The religious leaders of my time could not recognize the truth that was in front of them by acknowledging it. But did they know who I was? Yes, they did. Did they know I was sent by God, the Almighty and Eternal Father in heaven, sent to set the people free from their bondage to the institution at the time? Yes, they were fully aware and fully accountable for their rejection, I assure you. They received their reward in the end. And so will all of the religious leaders on the planet receive the same reward for their efforts, for holding back the true meaning of the scriptures from their congregation, from concealing the deeper meanings in my gospel, for withholding truth that could unchain their parishioners from their sins, from withholding fraternal correction when it was in them to give, and for presenting a false image of me, presenting a shell of false externals to the people so that they might worship that image instead. Even though the people are just as responsible, the religious leaders are going to get it worse, much, much worse. And yes, the people are all well deserving of the mark of the image of the beast, because they have no idea what true Christianity is. If Saint Peter and Saint Paul were walking the face of the earth, or if Moses and Elijah were walking the face of the earth at this time, they would simply be telling people exactly what I have been telling them, and the people would judge them as insane and as needing to be locked away. It is not wise for the people to judge my words, for in doing so they judge me. And now the judgment they have passed, they have received, and will continue to receive tenfold. Because now, during this, my second coming, I am the great and terrible judge. Mankind has their time to judge. It's over now. Understand, my children? I said every man, woman, and child would be repaid, and I meant it. Jesus said, "And the ones who will survive these end times, my children, will be the ones with blessed holy water in their homes, for without it they are doomed to perish, to become engulfed by their own demons, to self-destruct ultimately. Not a flood of water, my children, this time, but a flood of demons. And the only antidote is the blessed holy water. You know this yourself, and so do the rest of my remnant. But the enemy, working through the Protestants, will continue to protest to no end, to protest this miracle from heaven. And it is a miracle because it is the antidote to slavery to the demons. And if people were to use it with sincere repentance, their minds would be set free. They would become very clear in their thinking, and they would know what it is that I am asking of them. But the devil will keep them all in the ignorant of this truth, because it has been allotted to him this time. For am I not putting the people through the winepress of my wrath?" So, the blessed holy water is what you need to escape the Most High True God's divine justice. Come to the true church, the faithful remnant church, while there is still time. But the sad truth is, Jesus continued, hundreds of people visit the website every day and know the words to be true, but they refuse to believe. To believe is different than knowing. They can't believe because they can't admit that they were wrong and they were deceived by their local pastors. Did Judas know who I was? He spent time with me, talked with me, walked with me, and he listened to me, but then he decided to betray me. All of the people who have visited my website more than once are Judases if they refuse to do what is written. If they value their pastor's opinion and they would rather to give pastor money than to be spiritually rich, then I am done with them and they with me. Very simple, separating the chaff from the wheat. They all know it's me, my children, every single one of them. But they are so shocked and so proud, and the people are so self-righteous. All they can do is hate it and hate me. Very simple. That being said, the choice is now yours to be a true disciple of Jesus Christ or Judas, as the majority of the so-called Christians out there. You can visit testimonyofthetwowitnesses.com to learn more truths.